Today we will be continuing with the chapter Anandi Gopal Autobiography, Class 8, Subject English, Part 3, Chapter 4. Before we discuss about the story Part 3, right? Before we discuss Part 3 of this chapter, let us recall what we dealt with, or rather what we discussed in Part 2. We understood that Anandi Gopal was taken care of by carpenter of Rusili, and they were so kind enough that they accommodated her for a while, but still the carpenter's family were feeling surprised to see Anandi Gopal not liking non-vegetarian dish and always not willing to sit on a chair. Likewise, Anandi Gopal was also surprised to see carpenter's family not bathing for long days. And somehow, Anandi Gopal's husband, with all the difficulties, managed to send her to US in spite of oppositions by the people of her of their place in India, right? So today I will continue with part 3, explanation of 6th paragraph. The superintendent and the secretary of college were very kind. They were impressed that I had come to study from so far away, braving poverty and opposition from my people. They even offered me a scholarship of $600 for 3 years. So they were the superintendent and the secretary of the college were very much happy to see an Indian woman willing to pursue her career in medicine in their college in America. So as a token of appreciation, they offered Anandi Gopal $600 for 3 years. In INR, that is in Indian currency, $600 is equal to approximately 42,000. The room that was provided to me at the college didn't have a proper fireplace. The fireplace emitted a lot of smoke when lit. So it was between smoke and cold. So she had to put up between smoke and cold, right? And I tried to get another place, but of no avail, because she was an Indian, right? And then she started getting high temperature and cough. Then, living in an alien culture, weather was always difficult, and I was ready to face it. So, by living in an alien culture, alien means totally unknown. It is totally different. So when we compare Indian culture with that of American culture, there is no matching at all. So that is the meaning of alien. So our culture does not suit the American culture. So there is no compatibility as such. Right. Now, explanation of 8th paragraph. My health was severely affected by my stay there, that is in the college in America. After around 2 years in the USA, I had of sudden spells when I used to feel very fine and get a high temperature and get very high temperature. She used to fall sick often. She used to be affected with fever and cough as well. The cough never left me. By the end of the 3 years, my condition had worsened. I somehow scraped through the final exam. So she somehow managed to pass the medical examination, that is the exams in the college. Then, at the convocation where my husband was present, it was announced that I was the first woman doctor of India and got a standing ovation for that. So, she was the first Indian woman in the convocation to get a standing ovation, and this was supposed to be the most rewarding moments of her life. So day by day I grew worse and nothing worked. My husband then admitted me to the women's hospital in Philadelphia. So as her health condition was worsening, her father decided to admit her in a college in Philadelphia, in a hospital in Philadelphia. Right. Then I was diagnosed as having tuberculosis, but the disease hadn't reached my lungs. Disease hadn't reached my lungs. So the disease was aggravating. Tuberculosis is one of the diseases which was aggravating, but it hadn't yet affected her lungs. That is Anandi Gopal's lungs. Okay. The doctors advised me to go back to India. So doctors insisted that she should get back to India. That is Anandi Gopal should get back to India. Right. Here is the summary. Anandi Gopal lived in an alien culture and readily faced the bad weather. Second, Anandi Gopal's health was severely affected by her stay in USA. She was getting high temperature and cough quite often. She somehow passed the final exams. Anandi Gopal was the first Indian woman doctor to get standing ovation in the convocation. Anandi Gopal, when diagnosed on having tuberculosis, was admitted to Women's College Hospital in Philadelphia. The doctors advised her to go back to India. Right. Here are a few questions. How did Anandi Gopal feel by living in America? That is question number 1. How did Anandi Gopal feel by living in America? Second question. What was the condition of her health during her studies in the medical college? What was the condition of her health during her studies in the medical college? Third question. What was the rewarding moments of Anandi Gopal's life? What was the rewarding moments of Anandi Gopal's wife? Fourth question. What was the diagnosis of the doctors after treating Anandi Gopal? So what was the diagnosis of the doctors after treating Anandi Gopal? So these are a few questions you are supposed to answer. So let us call it a day. We will meet up once again. Jai Sai Ram.